Effective people know that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Next, Stephen discusses Habit 6, entitled Synergize, and how synergy results from valuing differences by bringing different perspectives together in a spirit of mutual respect.
One of the things you'll find when you communicate is that people think differently. You may have heard brain dominance theory. There's a lot to it. The left brain thinks differently than the right brain. It perceives differently. The left brain is the more verbal side. The right brain is the more visual. The left hemisphere is more analytical, more logical. The right is more creative, more intuitive. The left more time-bound. The right more time-free. And you need to have both. The key is the balance. Sometimes you don't have the balance in one person. You'll need it between two people. I was in a situation down in Orlando, Florida, talking on a seminar I present called Manage from the Left, Lead from the Right, suggesting that management, dealing with things, is more a left brain function. Leadership, dealing with people, is more of a right brain function. And the president of the company talked to me in the morning break and said, Stephen, I've been more interested in the application of that idea to my marriage than I have been to the business. I wonder if you'd had lunch with my wife and I and just see how we talk with each other. Sure enough, he sat down and he began kind of pleasant conversation. What are some of the things, honey, you feel like I should be more considerate about and careful of? Notice the left side deals with parts, with facts. Listen to a right brain answer. Well, it's nothing specific. It's more of a general sense I have about priorities. Honey, I can't get a handle on that language. What do you mean by general sense about priorities? Well, I just don't think the marriage is as important to you as you keep telling me it is. Well, what do you want me to do? See the left brain pressing? I got to get a handle on something. It's nothing specific. Well, how can you expect me to do anything if you can't get specific about what it is? Well, it's a feeling. Honey, that's your problem. If you don't mind, that's also your mother's problem. In fact, it's the problem with every woman I know. Now get at it. What is it? She says, it's a strong feeling. You know, he looked at me with utter disdain for her. Like, Stephen, could you endure this much dumbness in your marriage? If you can't express it, it doesn't exist, right? Then he put her through a legal deposition. Do you live where you want to live? Oh, it's not that at all. I know, but since you won't tell me what it is, I'll find out what it is by finding out what it isn't. Do you live where you want to live? I guess. Honey, Stephen's here for just a few minutes trying to help us. Can't you just give simple yes or no answers? Do you live where you want to live? I guess. Just say yes. Yes. Okay. Do you have the things you want to have? I guess. Just say yes. You know, this went on for a little while. More withdrawals. I could see I wasn't helping at all. So I intervened and said, is that kind of how it goes? And he said, every day, Stephen. Looked at his wife and she said, it's the story of our marriage. I said, you two have kids? He said, yeah. Really? How'd you do that? How many did you have? 2? That's called 1 + 1 = 4. That's called synergy. How'd you do it? What do you mean, how do we do it? That's called creative. That's synergistic. Must have come from valuing the differences. The strength in relationships lies in differences for those who have an abundance mentality out of habits 1, 2, and 3. Otherwise, differences are threatening. They're competing and a source of comparisons. Don't clone people. Define unity not as sameness, but as complementariness. So he could appreciate her tremendous right brain capacities, and she could appreciate his equally tremendous left brain capacities, and have a complementary team. That's what oneness is. It's not sameness, it's complementariness. That's a mature abundance mentality definition. Otherwise, you tend to think, since you're good with a hammer, that everything is a nail. That's Maslow's expression. He that is good with a hammer tends to think everything is a nail. They want to make other people over in their own image. Some people who think that everything is a nail are down on themselves because they're not a hammer. And they deprecate their own unique talents and capacities to use a chisel or a pair of pliers. Please hear what I am not saying. Did you hear what I just said? Please hear what I am not saying. You see, many people think they understand because they listen to what people are saying. But this person is saying, please hear what I am not saying. Don't be fooled by me. Don't be fooled by the mask I wear. For I wear a mask. I wear 1,000 masks. Masks that I'm afraid to take off, and none of them is me. Pretending is an art that is second nature with me, but don't be fooled. I give the impression that I'm secure, that all is sunny and unruffled with me, within as well as without, that confidence is my name and coolness is my game, that the waters are calm and that I'm in command, then I need no one. But don't believe it. Please don't. My surface may seem smooth, but my surface is my mask, my ever-varying and ever-concealing mask. Beneath lies no smugness, no coolness, no complacence. Beneath dwells the real me. See, these are the primary emotions. Beneath dwells the real me, in confusion, in fear, in loneliness. But I hide this. I don't want anybody to know it. I panic at the thought of my weakness being exposed. That's why I frantically create a mask to hide behind, a nonchalant, sophisticated facade to help me pretend, to shield me from the glance that knows. But such a glance is precisely my salvation, my only salvation, and I know it. It's the only thing that can liberate me from myself, from my own self-built prison walls, from the barriers I so painstakingly erect. But I don't tell you this. I don't dare. I'm afraid to. I'm afraid your glance will not be followed by love and acceptance. I'm afraid that you'll think less of me, that you'll laugh, and that your laugh will kill me. I'm afraid that deep down inside I'm nothing, that I'm just no good, and that you'll see and reject me. So I play my games, my desperate pretending games, with a facade of assurance on the outside and a trembling child within. And so begins the parade of masks, the glittering but empty parade of masks, and my life becomes a front. I idly chatter with you in the suave tones of surface talk. I tell you everything that's really nothing, nothing of what's crying within me. So when I'm going through my routine, don't be fooled by what I'm saying. Please listen carefully and try to hear what I am not saying. What I'd like to be able to say, what for survival I need to say, but I can't say. I dislike the hiding, honestly I do. I dislike the superficial phony games I'm playing. I'd really like to be genuine, spontaneous in me. But you have to help me. You have to help me by holding out your hand, even when that's the last thing I seem to want or need. Each time you are kind and gentle and encouraging, each time you try to understand because you really care, my heart begins to grow wings, very small wings, very feeble wings, but wings. With your sensitivity and sympathy and your power of understanding, I can make it. You can breathe life into me. It will not be easy for you. A long conviction of worthlessness builds strong walls, but love is stronger than strong walls, and therein lies my hope. Please try to beat down those walls with firm hands, but with gentle hands, for a child is very sensitive, and I am a child. Who am I, you may wonder? I am someone you know very well, for I am every man, every woman, every child, every human you meet. All of us are very tender and sensitive inside, and the more inner security we can cultivate, the more we can listen to what people are not saying. Try it for yourself. Try it tonight. Try it with your loved ones. Say, I'd like to understand you. By the way, with your loved ones, you better tell them what you're doing, or they'll be very suspicious. You've never listened to me before. What's going on here? No. Say, today I listened carefully to some material on empathy and listening, and I realized, as I thought about our relationship, I haven't done that very much. I've been rather critical and judgmental. I need to do that. I'm going to try. I'm going to try to restate your position to your satisfaction. And then do it. Watch what begins to happen. Can you see why that takes character strength? Why it takes patience? Why it takes habits 1, 2, and 3?